The opinions expressed on this program are those of the program host and guest and are not necessarily those of this station, management, staff, and sponsors. WSTU does not endorse products that may be mentioned. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WSTU. It's time now for the Crown Car Care Show. Call in with questions and comments, 220-9788, 220-WSTU. Now, here's your host.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's December 16th, 9 days till Christmas.
9 days.
9 days.
That's right.
It's come upon us fast.
Yes.
We've been counting it down for 6 months now, and it's here, finally. I don't know what else to say other than 9 days from now, Santa's coming down the chimney.
That's it.
8 days he'll be coming down the chimney. I can't wait.
If you don't have a chimney, he'll make one.
He'll make one. I got a big list. All kinds of things I want. It's a fine day in Martin County today.
Yes.
It really is. In fact, if you haven't gotten your flu shot, you ought to get your flu shot. Flu activity has been higher than normal nationally for the past month, according to the Centers for Disease Control, but it has not reached its peak yet. Those who have the flu say it's a most painful experience. I've had the flu this year.
Yeah.
The flu season is the earliest this decade that the percentage of visits to healthcare providers due to influenza-like illnesses is above the national baseline. The last time it exceeded the baseline this early, not counting the 2009 H1N1 epidemic, was the 03-04 flu season due to an especially vicious strain, I say, of influenza A.
Wow.
This time the CDC says it's primarily type B. What's the difference between type A and type B?
I don't know.
Okay, well, let's keep going. Which rarely shows up at the beginning. Never mind that. Shows up at the beginning of the flu season. Although a flu shot is not 100% effective in preventing flu altogether, it certainly reduces the impact.
Right.
Remember also to sure wash your hands a lot.
A lot.
Now, a lot is actually not proper English.
Yes. Often.
A lot is a quantity of something. A lot.
Right.
I have a lot of cows.
Correct.
Right?
Right.
Okay. Just make sure.
And my brother-in-law from my first marriage is a physician, and his recommendation is even wash your hands before you use the restroom.
Oh, not a bad idea. Yeah. Because
Right.
Makes sense.
Right.
It certainly does.
Yeah.
No explanation there needed, especially before you eat or touch your face. And if you have a fever, do all of us a favor and stay home.
Yes.
This News Minute is brought to you by WSTU 1450, audience by Martin County Currents.
Correct.
And that's Barbara Cloudis.
Yes, thank you,
Fine
Barbara.
job she's done. Fine job she's done.
Yes, keeping us up
Well, let's
to
get right
speed.
into it. Frank, I
Righto.
have a question for you. This
Okay.
is a little bit of news, maybe not, but there's a back of a car. There's a symbol on a lot of cars today, a bunch of them. A lot, not a few, many cars today.
Okay.
It's not a lot because we don't know what a lot means.
Quite a few.
Picture the back of a car
Right.
with a railroad track in front of it. What does that mean? Is it A, a crosswalk alert? B, adaptive cruise control? C, warp speed, Captain? Or is it D, locomotive mode?
Oh, locomotive mode.
Because the railroad tracks.
Yeah.
It kind of looks.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
see it. It's on my car.
I think that has to do with the onboard scanning in front of you.
It's the adaptive cruise control.
Yes.
That's right. B is the correct answer.
Yes.
Most cars today have it.
Right.
My new Hyundai Ioniq has it.
Okay.
And that keeps you in a lane too.
Okay.
Also lane control as well. So,
All right. Yeah, but this look like
railroad tracks.
it does indeed.
Interesting. Well, let's talk about this $44 million brouhaha they got going over a Ferrari GTO.
Yeah. What's going on over there?
Well, apparently a guy bought a $44 million GTO, and I can't imagine that kind of money, but I guess it is go. Some of them sell for $88 million, apparently.
Oof.
Well, apparently they didn't have the original transmission in it. And now there's a big lawsuit going over that thing. The third party has the tranny, and they won't give it to him. We got a phone call. So there's a big lawsuit. There could be some exchanging hands of money. Who knows? Lawyers. I don't know what this thing ultimately play out to. But hold on. We've got I believe we have a live caller here.
Do.
Welcome aboard to the Crown Car Care Radio Hour. How can we help you, sir?
Hello.
Oh, my God. Look who it is. It's Santa. Having problems with your sled today, are you?
Oh, my goodness. You have no idea. I try to oversee all of the parades and the parties and make sure that all of my elves are acting appropriately. And it ends up being appropriately.
Let me ask you something, Santa. Do your elves act sometimes different?
Well, there's some things that I'll have to tell you in person, little Todd. But yes, I have some very different elves.
Yes, I heard one of them wants to be a dentist. I think his name's Herbie.
Yes, Herbie the dentist. That's
Yes,
right.
That's right.
Well,
you getting all your gifts?
Conference about that.
Have you got all your gifts wrapped up there, Santa?
That's up to Mrs. Claus and the minions.
Oh, minions are they? I
Well,
see.
today they are because they sort of ticked me off.
Oh no! What happened? What happened, Santa?
Well, I think that they've been targeting little naughty children.
Oh no!
Yes, the elves on the shelves
Oh no!
have decided that they were putting their foot down, and naughty children will not be given gifts.
Oh my
Can you
gosh!
imagine?
I can't.
No leeway.
No leeway.
No,
No.
oh my.
I'm saying, if you are in Martin County and you have done something bad as a little boy or girl, please fix it. Santa doesn't have the patience to weed people out anymore.
All right. Well, we understand you're going to be calling in on the Friday show, Santa, and then describing to our listeners and my co-host Deborah how you're going to be able to conduct the entire journey in such a short amount of time. So we're going to go over your flights plan with you. So we're looking forward to that.
Well, I certainly will give you all the details, but Todd will appreciate this. We have kicked up the methane factor.
Oh,
I'm telling you what. We have to change the timing because it's burning so hot, and we're firing at so many. Well, I say pistons, but it's not pistons.
it's reindeer.
The problem we have is emission control.
All right, Santa. Well, we know you're so busy. We're so delighted you took time out of your busy schedule to spend a couple of quality minutes with us, and we're so delighted. And we wish you all the best and look forward to visiting with you on our Friday show.
And absolutely, and I want you to know that Martin County is one of my favorite places to stop.
Well, thank you,
Merry
Santa.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thank you, Santa. Bye-bye.
Well, what a delightful call. Speaking of the Martin County, in the early 1930s in Martin County, down there in Hobe Sound, there's a place called Banner Lake.
Yes.
A lot of the employees that worked on the Jupiter Island mansions and homes in the 1930s lived in the Banner Lake area, which is off Bridge Road.
Right.
And in the 1930s, a group of the Jupiter Island residents built a place called the Banner Lake Center, Banner Lake Club. And it's been there since the 1930s. It's been an organization that not only benefits the community as a whole, but it also benefits the residents that live there, seniors, etc. And in October of this year, Frank, they've built a brand new 9,000-foot Banner Lake Community Center. And it's here to serve the children and families of Banner Lake and other nearby communities. It's just a marvelous facility. It's bought and paid for by some generous donors. And this program that they've established, not only for kids, it's called the Banner Lake Academy. That is up through third grade. They've also got an organization called the Banner Lake After School, which is BLAST, B-L-A-S-T, Banner Lake After School. It's an acronym. It's 5 through 18, free, and they work on access to technology, arts and crafts, music, physical fitness, health, and wellness. There's also a team leadership club, which they take trips to nearby colleges and other activities that will expand their worldview. Let me tell you, the programs that they offer here, and I look at it this way, the way I take it is they are not only helping people, but they're able to help people help themselves.
Right.
So if I give somebody gold, they can feed themselves, they can clothe, they can do anything. But if I tell them how to mine the gold, And I don't have to give them the gold anymore, and they can get their own gold. But I see this Banner Lake Community Center as a place that's doing both.
Yeah.
There's many people out there that do need the gold.
Yeah.
We need to get them going.
Right.
But then we also need to take the young ones and show them how to mine for gold. And they're doing that there too. Not only that, but some of the adult programs that they have, they've got a community cafe. They have a food pantry that helps many of the seniors in the area. If you're 60 and over, each weekday they're preparing meals and are delivered in partnership with the Meals on Wheels program at the Kane Center there off of
Cove Road.
Cove Road.
Yeah.
Cove Road. So what a great place. Brand new facility, October 2019. So it just happened a couple months ago. It's a 9,000-foot facility, and they're going strong. I've helped out there before. I've helped serve food out there. My mother is entrenched in it and helping. In fact, she's doing my mom, Connie, is doing stockings for, I believe, for 100 or 150 kids.
Wow.
With toys and names and everything else. So, and books. So what am I asking for? I'm asking for the community to help us out.
Okay.
Help out Martin County's Banner Lake. It's a great organization. Let me tell you, the phone number is 402-5167, 402-5167. I'm going to be talking about this in the next couple of weeks again.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's a great organization.
Well, what can we do to help out, Todd?
Well, you can help. You can volunteer with time.
Okay.
You can volunteer there with time. You can volunteer with donations.
Treasure.
With your treasure, your time, and your goodwill, which would be to spread the word.
Yeah.
And maybe by spreading the word, you can get other people that can do treasure and time as well.
Right. Do they have a Facebook page or any other media?
I can give you their website page, and that's the only thing I know
Sure.
of. They're on Facebook. It's the BannerLakeClubInc.org.
Okay.
It's all one word, the Banner Lake Club Inc. Inc. Incorporated.org. The Banner Lake Club Inc.org. I don't really, you notice I don't really push a whole bunch of stuff here in Martin County because so many people are doing it and doing such a well job. But this is an organization I believe
touches your heart.
It really does, because it's they're doing it on both sides, all three sides really. They're helping the elderly, they're helping the young, and they're helping in the middle. And all three, they're helping them with the gold and as well as the mining of the gold.
Right. A helping hand and a leg up.
Yeah, that's what it's so important, because so many people, if you just give a helping hand, it's going to perpetuate itself.
Right.
You'll never change a thing other than feel good about helping somebody.
Right.
But if you can help somebody feel good as well as help them feel good themselves the following week or day or year or 10 years from now, then you can put your efforts to somebody else.
Right.
Think about that. If you have to always help the same person, you're limited on what you can do in the world, aren't you?
Yeah.
But if you help that person enough so they can help themselves, you can move on to another person that needs your help.
There you are.
That's how you can grow it. So Banner Lake Club, Hope Sound.
Okay.
I urge everyone out there listening to get involved in it.
Okay.
Right.
Sounds worthwhile.
How about another news?
Okay.
Yeah, we got a little bit of time.
Absolutely.
Okay. Here's something I read that was interesting, Frank. Hyundai has been fined $47 million for importing diesel engines that don't meet the U.S. Clean Air Act standards. Is this another fiasco?
Wow.
This is new.
Well, they probably hired the engineers from Volkswagen.
This is, the magazines now are printing 3-6 months in advance. This is February 2020. We haven't even hit 2020 yet. But this is the newest diesel power magazine, which is exclusively diesels.
So this is really breaking news, pretty much.
It's kind of, this is hot off the press.
Right.
So here's something interesting. GM in 2019 has earned a 2019 Green Power Leadership Award from the EPA. It's giving companies that are furthering the nation's voluntary green power market. Now, I don't know how that's tied into the bailout and just making them feel good. I suspect there's a little bit of everything in it, but they did get the award. So let's stop it at that. All right. How about that? Here's another bit of news. They're out, they're moving, and we're getting them to the dealers as quick as we can. That's a quote from the manager of the Chevy Truck Communications at Chevrolet. I think we've talked about this new diesel that they've got in their light-duty trucks. It's a Duramax straight six diesel, straight six, and it's available in the light-duty trucks. Well, apparently it's such a great motor. In fact, later in the show, we'll talk about the great mileage that it gets compared to the gas. And the power and the smoothness. But they're saying there's been a 3-month delay on it because of emission certification process, or it could have been the strike. I don't know what the deal is, but there's a delay. And I smelled strike, but as a delay.
Yeah, I think
right. They have no one to drive them over there to get certified because they were all on strike.
Well, speaking of GM, they
Yes.
made the news here also on the Automotive News website. GM's ability to maintain its 54% share of full-size non-luxury SUVs, and of course, it's the page is repopulating. Here it is. Where'd it go? So I lost it. But anyway, so apparently, but they're doing well with their SUVs, which is good to know.
Yes.
And so they get 54%.
Here's an interesting little life hack. I don't know if it's for a car. I guess it's for a car. I noticed it on my new Hyundai Ioniq that we've talked about.
Mhm.
I plug my phone in to charge it, and
Right.
because it has the Apple Play on it, randomly at times when I'm say listening to NPR or whatever 1450 AM, listening to it, will pick a song from my phone and play it automatically without me choosing it.
Wow.
So it's a common problem. And here in Consumer Reports magazine, they were talking about it here. And the best way to do that is if you're going to be charging your phone and you don't want these issues, use just a 12-volt adapter in a cigarette or adapter port, the
Right.
old cigarette lighter hole.
Right. So
that way, it's not really Bluetooth linked in through the USB cable connector.
Correct.
So interesting. I didn't know that.
Right.
I've had that problem in the past, and it now makes sense.
Well, I've always I tried to plug my phone in through the USB port, and I found that I was not getting a charge. And that,
they don't give enough juice either.
Right.
There's not enough voltage or not enough amperage, I believe.
Right.
It's the same voltage. It's just not enough amperage.
So, but when I use it through the cigarette lighter adapter, then all of a sudden
it's lickety split, right?
Yes.
To charge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So there's two things, and not only can you avoid your music or
cutting into
your
right.
music that you've chosen, it also speeds up the charging process.
Right.
Good little tip there.
Yeah.
So one of the things we're going to talk about in the second half of this show, and we've really not had a good chance to talk about that, at length on it, is why is it that Crown Car Care, the two locations I have, is so ideal for companies that have multiple vehicles or even families with multiple vehicles? What's the advantage? Why is it that we can do it better than anybody else?
Right.
And I'll talk about that.
For families and for fleets.
That's right. Why is it that Crown Car Care has this uncanny ability to manage customers and people with cars better than anybody else out there? I don't know. We'll talk about it. I have some answers.
Nice.
So, and I think it'll maybe get you thinking. If you're not one of our customers or guests, you might want to consider switching over to us.
Well, I would think so.
Absolutely. Let's take a break and we'll come back and then we'll maybe do a little bit more news and we'll get right into the show.
All right. Sounds good.
Welcome back, everybody. Hey, Frank, I believe you've got some news on the electric front.
I do indeed. You know, Rivian, we've talked about Rivian, and they have the Rivian R1T, which is the electric pickup that just won the truck tailgate war. Well, these cars haven't even come out yet, but already they're being declared the winner. The tailgate war is on amongst pickup trucks, and perhaps taken on from its Rivian with its RT1 truck is the best multi-function tailgate that is out there.
Now, was that printed or researched before the Cybertruck came out? Because I'm going to tell you, I looked over the weekend on this Cybertruck, and I kept looking.
See?
And I kept looking.
Yeah.
And I kept looking, and I'm not seeing much negative in this thing. I'm seeing an upside of 500-mile range. I'm seeing an upside to some bed that will do damn near anything and not get dented and self-heal itself. I'm looking at glass that won't break. I'm looking at an interior that's nifty, kind of like that Model 3 we drove. I'm looking at a tailgate with a sliding cover that's like armor, like it's almost like something you'd see out of
a space
Terminator movie or something. I just don't understand it, and I believe it's, most prototypes are not what they make. This, I believe, is what you're getting.
Yeah.
I don't think it's changing.
No, I think the only thing that they're showing on the prototype that you probably won't get is the goofy little steering wheel. I think you're going to get a full
That's why I said the same thing. There's no way they can do that wheel.
Right.
But everything else, I believe the aesthetics on the outside, that linear, angular look, I believe it's for real.
Yes.
Because I was looking at some of the structural frame that they've, actually the whole body is the unit.
Yeah, it's the exoskeleton. Yes.
The exoskeleton. The only time I heard exoskeleton is on insects, right?
Yes.
Right.
But that's essentially what it is, because there's no frame with this car. Whereas with the Ford or the GM or the Toyota, when those vehicles go up like rocks and all that, they actually flex because of the frame.
Oh, I know, yeah.
And this car is not going to do that. But here's the thing: if you buy a traditional pickup truck with a flexible frame and all that going on, 95% of what you're going to do with that vehicle is going to be on streets.
That's correct.
Right?
Yes.
So 5% to climb rocks, right?
Yeah.
So why would you buy a vehicle we're only designed to do what you may do only 5% of the time?
That's right. I get it.
Yeah. I mean, you got to ask yourself that question. So the exoskeleton won't allow you the flexibility to climb those rocks, but it'll allow you to do a lot of other things.
Yeah. It's just, I like that it's got this, people when they buy pickup trucks will put a roll up cover on the whole bed.
Right.
This has, it looks like it's built into it.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it.
It's
amazing.
It looks like a something you'd see in a roll up door in a warehouse.
Right. Well, we got to call them up and have them bring one down for
that neat?
A test drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll be on our.
That's my high. I might buy one.
I think so.
I could be convinced.
So $100 down. That's it to commit to the car, $100, and it's $39,900.
The price is right.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So
Frank, I got a question for you.
Moving on. Okay. What?
In the last 10 years, what's the best performing stock?
And on the stock market.
That's correct. Any stock market.
I would say, and you're talking about a commodity stock, I would say maybe an energy stock.
No, Netflix.
3,522%
return.
Wow.
Netflix. So.
All right. Interesting.
They started in 2007 and the rest is history.
Yeah.
Netflix.
Wow.
I never knew that.
Me either.
Read in Kiplinger magazine. Not that it has anything to do with what we're talking about, but I had to bring it up.
It's interesting.
And
stuff.
Speaking of why, let's bring up one more thing that we've never talked. We talked about. Sometimes we talk about math. Sometimes we don't.
We talk about transportation of all sorts.
There's another thing. You know, if you take two small grapes and put them about a centimeter apart from each other, and you put it in the microwave oven and turn it on, you'll actually create plasma, the fourth state of matter. Plasma, real plasma.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Real
Watch it arc, huh?
Well, it's plasma, though. It's actually plasma. It's not just arcing. It's plasma.
Wow.
So, okay.
Nice.
Let me find. Well,
you want to talk about the Titanic?
We're going to talk about the world's largest electric vehicle.
Oh, the world's largest electric vehicle.
And you know where it comes out of? It comes out of a company in Switzerland.
Okay.
So kind of looks Swiss when you look at it. Real.
Does it really?
Yeah, it kind of looks European, doesn't it? Doesn't it have that European look the way
little cheesy, Swiss cheesy.
Yeah.
No. It actually looks pretty stout.
It's pretty robust.
Yes.
The batteries alone weigh 9,000 pounds.
9,000. So it has to have a very strong frame to it.
Has a 600 kilowatt hour battery pack, enough to power 6 Teslas. It's 30 feet long, 14 feet wide, and 14 feet tall. It's called the E-Dumper.
The E-Dumper.
It weighs 45 tons.
45 tons. That's 90,000 pounds, right?
And it does it does the regenerative braking, like we've talked about on other vehicles, where the electric motors that do the driving when you are stopping, they become a generator and regenerate the kinetic energy and turn it back into potential energy.
Nice.
And then we take the potential energy, which is in the batteries, and turn it into kinetic energy through the electric motor.
Yeah.
So potential to kinetic, kinetic to potential, and then back again.
Yeah. Nice.
Kinetic and potential.
I like
KP.
KP. I love it.
Apparently this truck is great. They've no issues with it. It's been a
how long does it take to charge it up?
Well, here's what I'm gonna tell you what they're saying here.
You have to park it at the FP&L plant.
They say though that it doesn't, because they're getting so much regenerative braking on it and they're not using it great distances. They can go like a week or two at a time without having to charge this thing.
That's amazing.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's when you add the regenerative braking to it, your net energy loss is quite a bit less than you would think.
I would think if they have the ability to change out the battery pack like a plug and play product, then whereas if they're working on a job and they can just bring out another battery and just swap them out as needed, already fully charged battery, I could see it to be
a comparable dump truck.
Right.
Of comparable work duty.
Mm-hmm.
They're saving 22,000 gallons of fuel, diesel fuel.
Wow.
22,000 gallons. So here's something that's real.
But that's over what, the operational life?
A year.
Oh, a year.
Yeah, a year.
Right. And you would use this for multiple years, obviously.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that here's look at it. The numbers are so big,
right,
that you really can digest it.
Yeah.
A small car, it's hard for me to digest sometimes. How much fuel am I saving? 300 gallons a year, big whoopee do.
Right.
But you look at this one vehicle.
22,000
gallons. 11,000. It says 11,000 to 22,000 gallons of fuel savings each year. That's big.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? You're just this one unit.
Yeah. It's the multiplying effect.
Yeah. So a lot of times this type of technology, is started with not with Tesla, but it started with really the Prius. Started with the EV1, which was back with GM back in California, back in the 80s. But this type of technology has now become such commonplace.
It's ubiquitous.
It's ubiquitous. And now it's being used in heavy industry, which is where many times the bulk of the pollution. A lot of times you'll see, like in the shipping industry or the construction industry, they're the ones that are the big gross polluters.
Right.
And now we're seeing this application of a E-Dump.
Mm-hmm.
Fabulous vehicle. I don't know what the cost is. They didn't say that.
No.
It could be tremendous.
Yes, but the fact that it's a one time, and the battery, I'm sure, is going to last many charges.
Frank, how many of these Cybertrucks have they pre-sold?
I know in the first 3 days they pre-sold 146,000 in 3 days. And I know
I'm
that
liking this thing better than any of the cars. I'm liking this thing.
Yeah.
You too?
Yes. Absolutely.
Cybertruck.
It'll tow 14,000 pounds. I love that notion.
I like the range.
Yeah. The range is marvelous.
I mean, 39,000. That's on the higher end of average car, but
right.
But look what you're getting.
Well,
exoskeleton.
My son and I, we were at the Ford plant up in Dearborn, watching the F-150s and the what was the Raptor?
How many did they pop out a day?
Well, they do one a minute.
Did you see the Raptors being done?
We saw the Raptor in the showroom on display.
They're bad to the bone too. The Raptor's that V6 twin turbo,
right? So they took a Tesla, and they tied a Raptor to it, and they had a tow chain on them.
Who won?
Right? The Tesla dragged that Ford around like it was a rag doll.
That's because of the torque of the electric motor.
Yes.
Remember, an electric motor has torque now.
Yeah, and the weight thing. So what they did was they redid it with a smaller, lighter Tesla, and it still did the same result. It was a weight equivalent.
The Cybertruck.
Yeah.
It's got this glass too.
Oh yeah.
I know they had some boo-boos on the, but so what? This glass is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Everything about this truck's cool.
Yeah.
Wonder if you can order that steering wheel.
Well, you could probably special order it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got no wheel. It's like looks like a drag racing car.
Well, they have a couple more problems to solve before it can be sold.
What are those? Do you know? There?
Yes, the big problem has to do with the mirrors.
Mirrors.
There's no side view mirrors on that car.
Oh, why can't they use? If they would pass laws that would allow us to use cameras, we could get away with it. Right now, they have to. You have to have mirrors.
Exactly. That's where they're
Correct
at.
Mundo.
They have to get that.
The sign off from.
That'll have to happen before those products can hit the road.
It will happen.
Yeah.
He's sending supplies to the space station.
Yeah, it'll probably happen. But
couldn't the rockets could have a little delay if it doesn't get approved?
Yeah, no,
that would be quid pro quo, wouldn't it?
That would be awful.
Don't get Trump involved.
No.
Oh
my God.
Get Pelosi.
Oh my God, here we go. All right. So what else do we want to cover?
Let's talk about Crown Car Care and the benefits of fleet.
Yeah.
And it is a big topic.
All right.
And I can tell you, how did it all start? It started 14 years ago when I opened my business. I would have customers. At first, I didn't really have fleet accounts. I had just
walk-in retail customers
would come in, and I would get people that would come in that would own, say, a construction company or a landscape company or an electrical company or a plumbing company or an irrigation company, an alarm company. And they would ask about, can you take care of my vehicles for my company? And it was new to me. I just opened and I said, of course. And it has migrated and evolved into a process that allows us to, and I'm going to tell you the biggest advantage.
You're answering the consumer need.
That's right. The biggest thing that we're answering is we know your vehicle and you know us.
Right.
Isn't that really what it's? They know us,
right,
and we know your vehicle,
right,
and that cannot be said at most places.
Right.
Most places you might get a different person.
Right.
So that way you don't know them.
And then that person has to look on the computer screen and hope that and there's enough information.
Right. We know your vehicles and you know us.
Right.
Most people, when they go somewhere big, they might not know the people there. Yeah. We know them on a first name basis. And that can also be said for the technicians in the back. They might not know your vehicle, but we do. And that is a big difference. And you really got to think about that for a minute, because we know the idiosyncrasies and the little things about your vehicle that you kind of you expect us to know, right? And we also will know when we road test it, we'll know what it was like before, because we'll have that memory or we'll have the notes on it. We'll have it in our computer. We do have electronic records. That's just like everybody else, though. Everybody has that.
Right.
So that's not what I'm really getting at here. The game changer is we know your vehicle and you're comfortable coming to us. And that was one of the things that really, I believe, the biggest factor that's set off both my repair shops from everybody else out there. It doesn't matter how big you are or how small you are in comparison to me. The biggest thing that has set the standard in my two businesses that has differentiated us from all the people else out there is that we are easy access.
Yeah.
You can get to us. You know us. You know who I am. You can talk to me. If you want to buy a used vehicle, let's say you have a fleet, you're a plumber. And a lot of my customers don't buy brand new vehicles. It's not cost advantageous. They'll buy a couple-year-old vehicle. They'll call on the phone. Hey, Todd, can you guys take a look at my vehicle I'm looking at buying? Well, there's a fleeting moment for that. It has to be, if you're looking at a vehicle and you've got the opportunity to take it for a road test, to have a secondary inspection on it, you can't schedule it in next week, can you? You need to do it pretty darn quick.
Right now.
Like right now.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Sure.
I'll give you an example, and I'm going to talk great praises for him. Peter's Hardware, who we've had as a guest.
Sure.
Haven't we had Peter on here?
Yeah.
Well, I guess he's a regular customer of mine. What a great gentleman he is, and what a fine store they have. In fact, if you live in Palm City, I'd argue why go over the bridge to anywhere else?
Right.
You just go right to Peter's Hardware there. It's on the west side of north side of the Martin Downs Boulevard, right before you go over the Palm City Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And he was, him and he has a son they're buying a vehicle. I'm not going to talk about what vehicle it is and what it is, but they had a vehicle they wanted to have checked out.
Yeah.
It was a couple of years old, still under base warranty, but they wanted it looked at.
Yeah.
There was a time frame for it. Obviously, it had to be now.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? We did it. We did it now. And if you have a fleet, we sometimes, and for the most part, I can't say always, but we can generally do it now. Your time is money. Right? If you've got drivers, if you've got a business, if you've got an install going with an air conditioning unit with a customer of your own, and one of your vehicles goes down, when do you need it? Now. Can we get you in now? For the most part, we do make room at the inn. We'll squeeze you in. We'll get you in. We'll look at your vehicle. We'll diagnose it, and we'll get it fixed lickety-split. It may not be 10 minutes later, but at least we're getting it in now. Right? That's a big difference. Yeah. Whereas if you get the phone call to the bigger type facilities and they say, get it towed to us and we'll look at it early next week.
Right.
And I say, get it towed to us and we'll look at it today. That's a big difference if you own a fleet. It's a game changer.
Right.
It can change your business because now you're not going to have all that downtime on one vehicle.
Right.
And I can get you up and running again so you can go out and do what you need to do.
Time is money.
Time is money.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, most service industries, what are they dependent on? Vehicles.
Yeah.
Right? Commercial vehicles. And we do a fine job at it. In fact, Florida Power and Light trusts us so much. Every 3 years, they give me a renewable contract to work on their vehicles. They've trusted us.
Yeah, that's huge.
It's huge.
It really is huge.
It's a big deal. And they believe in me because we're on our third renewal. 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
Third renewal. 9 years. That's Florida Power and Light.
That's sweet.
Okay? So they trust us. So if you own a plumbing company or an irrigation company or one of my big, we have quite a few landscape companies.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because they drive a lot of these medium duty NPRs, which are made by Isuzu. You've seen them, those cab over ones. That they're like a medium duty truck. It's owned by GM, but it's a Isuzu NPR. We're specialists. We're experts in it. We have the equipment to diagnose them. We have the skill, power, and the man set to do it. And we have the experience because we've been doing it for 14 years. Experience is another big factor that I haven't talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I was just opening my business 14 years ago, I didn't really have much experience, did I? But I had the belief in my business and I had the belief in my service that I was confident enough to say that I got it. Yep. But now I have the experience to say not only do I have the confidence and the belief that I can do it, but I do have the track record to prove it. And with the track record to prove it, I'm speaking what I speak, and it's reality.
Yeah.
If you own a business in Martin County and you want to get some premium service, come to Crown Car Care, one of our 2 locations. We have one in Stewart off Cove Road, and we have one in Palm City. Easily find us. Just go on the maps or Google Maps and type in Crown Car Care or push the speak button and say Crown Car Care, Martin County, or Crown Car Care, diesel repair, Crown Car Care, air conditioning, Crown Car Care, tires, Crown Car Care, alignments. You'll get right to us. The phone number's right there. The directions are right there. We can direct it to us. If you want to look at some Google reviews, we got a bunch of Google reviews, 40 or 50 of them. They're all good. Why? Because I believe in what I believe in, and that's good service. Yeah. And that's all I believe in is what I do. It's what I think and breathe in this world is cars. That's why Frank and I do this radio show every week for the most part.
Yep.
Lately, we've been having Santa join us, so it's been a trifecta, right? Frank, Todd, and Santa.
Yeah.
And he's got a methane gas thing going on.
Got a whole thing going on.
I don't know where he's getting that methane gas from. Could it be I don't know.
It's
too many ribs.
It's probably in the reindeer food.
It could be.
Right. Too much broccoli.
Too much broccoli.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
All right. We are back. You're listening to the Crown Car Care Hour.
So, Frank, when you hang wallpaper, you always do it plumb, right?
Yes, you always got to keep it straight. Yes.
Okay, just like
everything you do.
Keep it straight.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Here's something we just talked about, the fleet accounts, and I'd like to talk now about something called, do you know what freshening a vehicle is? Redesign of a vehicle as well, or an all-new vehicle. There's three different terminology in the automotive industry, and all three mean something completely different.
Okay, freshening takes an original body type and then
it will add one or two things.
Correct. It just updating a few things.
Sometimes it can mean a styling tweak, such as a new grille or a headlight design, a new paint color.
Right.
In other cases, the model might get an updated engine. It might. It's usually one or two things.
Right. Nothing substantial with the overall design.
And what I'm getting to get into when we're done talking about this is the life cycle of a redesign and an all new, and how it affects reliability. You'd be surprised at when you look at the trends.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you what some of the most reliable cars are in 2019.
Okay.
So now you have redesign. What's a redesign?
Redesign is where you just totally do it over from the ground up.
Well, that's all new.
Yeah.
Okay. All new is when you totally just like you say. That's all new. Redesign is you'll take an existing Ford Explorer, for example.
Okay.
The 2020, the new Ford Explorer, which I've seen ads on TV for, is a complete redesign, but it is still the same underpinnings. They may lengthen the frame. It's a redesign, but still kind of sort of the same car.
Okay.
That's a redesign.
Right.
And that is many times where the problems arise with reliability.
Because the redesign doesn't always take in mind some of the engineering complications.
That's right. You're exactly right. And then also with all new, which is a complete new vehicle.
Well, look at the 55 and the 56 Chevy. That's a classic example of that. If you own a 55 Chevy, you have a problem car. If you have a 56 Chevy, you have a reliable car.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Because they're virtually identical.
Except for
they fixed all the problems of the 55.
And that's exactly what I've been reading about. And it's quite remarkable, the data on this.
Yes.
I'll give you an example. Take the Acura RDX. Very reliable in 2000. It's an SUV, by the way, midsize. Very reliable in 2018. Horrible in 2019. Problems including phone pairing, trim pieces, premature wearing down of brakes, squeaks, and rattles. And that was on a redesign. Another one that's a horrible one is the BMW X5. 2018, very reliable.
See?
2019, horrible. It included external door handles, falling off.
Whoops, that could be a problem.
Paired phones randomly resetting. One owner reported the BMW logo fell off.
Which is
apparently falling off is the issue.
Oh my God.
So that's just, it's very, very, very interesting. And you could probably go quite in depth on this and really see some things, some trends, and find out some interesting things about the different companies and how they think and how their engineers think and how they go through the process of testing things. You really find out a lot about this stuff, and I find it most interesting. I'll give you an example. Here's a decent one, a Santa Fe, a Hyundai, 2018, fabulous, reliable car. Now, 2019, a little bit less reliable, but not quite as bad as what I just talked about, the BMW and the Acura.
Right.
Broken sunroof brackets. An infotainment center, which is the navigation, radio, etc. It often reboots, so it's an issue with that. To the Hyundai Santa Fe 2019. So it's and what's the point of this?
Yeah,
if you're buying a used car, sometimes it's better not to buy all brand new. It's a great article here in Consumer Reports, January 2020. So it's the newest issue,
new.
And I'm reading. As the host, I got to read all this stuff. You see me coming in here, boxes full of things I read. I have to read this on a weekly basis.
Yep.
And, I'm not coming up with all these ideas. I'm accumulating all those ideas so I can spill it out on the radio.
Yes.
Spill it out. So the point is if you're looking at a car, you need to look at that information before you buy it.
Yes.
Is it a redesign? When was it redesigned? If it's not, is it a freshening or is it all new? Makes a difference in what you buy. 65% of all consumers, they've done a recent poll, and here's some interesting information. It was a national car buying survey. 65% of all American consumers who buy vehicles place it reliability at 65% of what they're looking for. That's big.
Yeah.
So if it's what you're looking for, you need to do the research on it.
Yeah.
The data is all out here. It's not like 1980 where you had to compile this stuff. It's all there. You just got to find out where it's at and read it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
Sure.
It's all here. But I find freshening isn't so bad. Design gets stale, and people always want the newer and bester.
Yeah.
Cell phones are another example. Sometimes a year or two old cell phone has all its bugs worked out.
Yeah.
Yet everybody wants the new one.
Right.
You might want to wait until the new, but then you don't have the new one.
Yeah.
And that can be a problem with certain people. You got to have the newest, right? The best, supposedly. But this is saying it's not the best. Ultimately, the reliability factor of some of these cars is not the best. Okay, here's some of the brand winners.
Okay,
the brand winners overall, and this is an overall number going back, it looks like to 2013. This is just, you can kind of see it, right? It's green, yellow, and orange.
Yes.
It shows what brands are really reliable. Okay.
So green has got to be good.
Okay, the dark green is the best.
Right.
And you know who it is? Lexus.
Lexus, yeah. I believe that.
Lexus.
Yeah.
And you can find good used Lexuses out there for a song and a dance, the price.
Right.
RX300, ES300, they're great vehicles based on the Camry, right? The Camry, which is the Toyota version of it, not luxury, but number two, I find this hard to believe.
Yeah.
Mazda. That caught me off guard because I wouldn't have spoke so highly of Mazda. Yeah, Toyota's number three. We would have figured that. Number four, Porsche.
Yeah.
I would have never guessed that. Reliability, Porsche. Porsche, real. Genesis, which we know is the premium arm of Hyundai.
Correct.
Which is like Lexus is to Toyota. Okay, number 6 is Hyundai. I would have guessed that. Yes, Subaru. And 9 is Kia. We had guessed that. So I kind of would have assumed for me,
most of these,
the surprisers are 8 is Dodge. I would have never guessed that.
Yeah.
Never. I've always thought they were
Dodge
some of the most unreliable ones, just in my record of knowing. Porsche was a kind of a surprise for me, as well as Subaru and Mazda. But all the rest I kind of knew. So Honda's down there to number 12. Hondas, I think, are a great vehicle, but lately I see a lot of lost way. I don't know how else to say it. Sometimes their technological marvels and their ways of doing things differently get them in trouble quite a bit. Just what I see. Remember, Honda does everything just a little bit differently on purpose.
Yes.
They won't do something the same way just because they can't do it the same way because it's against their company DNA.
Right.
They always have to do it a little different. So that's Honda. Honda's number 12.
Right.
And the bottom of the barrel, if you can believe this, number 30, Cadillac.
Yeah. I'm not surprised.
And second up from the bottom, Alfa Romeo. And here's something. Third up from the bottom is Acura.
Wow, that's a surprise.
Is that a surprise?
That is a surprise.
And then Volkswagen, which I would guess would be there.
Right.
Volvo.
Yeah.
Tesla's number 23. Way on the bottom, Tesla.
Wow.
But not with the Cybertruck.
No.
I think we're getting to the end of the show.
We are pretty close.
Crown Car Care is who has sponsored this show today. If you liked it, go on Facebook and tell us that you like it.
Yes.
If you like it, call us up on the radio station. Call up my shop, 781-8000. Let us know. Go to our website, crowncarcare.net.
All right.
Make an appointment. Excuse me. Come see us.
Go see Todd and his crew at Crown Stores.
Yeah.
Very good.
All right. Thanks again, and we'll catch you next week. It'll be the Monday before Christmas.
Wow.
And we have a special guest on that show. Christmas lights we'll be talking about.
Okay. Very good. We'll look forward to it. Have a great rest of the week.